Bookbinders. You might think they went the way of the blacksmith and telegraph operator, but there's still a need for them in this digital, paperless world of ours. In fact, you might say the digital age has elevated bookbinding from merely a necessity to an art form. Next, we're going to visit Paper Dragon Books in Brooklyn to see why. In this ephemeral world of email, ebooks, and texting, there is a comfort knowing the printed word, meaning words printed on actual paper, is still cherished. Paper Dragon Books, owned by Gavin Dovey, is such a place. A classic bookbinder who uses traditional hand techniques while continually forwarding bookbinding as an art form.
People will bring me copy either as a graphic design project, or they could be repairs to old books. They could be wedding albums, they could be wedding guest books, they could be blank books. Typically you'll start with sections. These are folds of paper folded inside each other. They're sewn through the middle, one on top of the other. They are backed, which means the spine is glued up, the edges are trimmed. It's forwarded, meaning that it has to be rounded and backed. The covering material prepared and it's covered, corners done, head caps. Bob's your uncle, you have a book.
Work is done on large tables filled with classic old world tools, while raw material like goat skin, gold leaf, and of course parchment wait to the side to be made into something unforgettable. And clients range from storied institutions like the Pierpont Morgan Library to the weekend book collector.
How long does it take to do a book?
2 days, 2 weeks. Or 2 years. Who knows? I mean, it depends on the kind of work that you have done. I can make a case binding in 2 hours, or I could agonize over designing some really complicated, highly skilled, labor-intensive book or box.
Which is where Gavin's unique talents really come out.
The work that I do, my palette is different types of leather. So I'm piecing together artwork made out of different pieces of goat skin, which I have to shave down. So it's kind of like painting, but just using bits of leather to do it. And I've always been pushing myself to try and learn as much new things as I can, to try and incorporate some new technique that I want to get hold of or get to grips with.
And how does Gavin feel about the future of bookbinding as the world embarks on the digital age?
As long as there's a market for collecting, as long as things are collectible, and as long as people have that or need that tangible connection that they hold in their hand, they can see and they can use and they can open, and touch and feel the paper. To me, that's kind of like asking why anyone would have art when we have, photography or the computers or.
Paper Dragon Books is open by appointment only. Gavin also offers bookbinding classes on occasion and has even taught at the Smithsonian Institution.